Guard shoved Staff Sergeant Mara Vance forward. Their chitinous claws clamped her arms, slamming her knees onto the throne bay's polished obsidian floor. Holographic banners flickered overhead, projecting the Kroth Empire's conquests across a dozen worlds. "Kneel properly, before Queen Sorith Valketh," the lead guard snarled, his mandibles clicking. He pressed a stun prod against her neck. Mara's muscles tensed under the energy cuffs binding her wrists. She tasted blood from a split lip. Souvenir from capture on Epsilon Verge. The Queen loomed on her elevated dais, iridescent scales shimmering under throne lights. 6 eyes narrowed from her elongated head. "One knee, human?" Sorith commanded, voice amplified through vox grills. "Submit or suffer." The guards pushed harder. Mara's boots scraped stone. She exhaled steady, planted palms flat, and drove upward. Restraints bit skin, but she rose, full height, chin level, eyes locked on the Queen's. Gasps echoed from the honor guard. Sorith's crest flared, territorial flare. Mara noted from briefings. The Queen's tail lashed once, coiling tight. "Insolence!" Commander Reltovon barked from the shadows. He strode forward, armored plates clanking. Battle scars crisscrossed his exoskeletal frame. "This prey defies doctrine. It must break." Sorith raised a claw. "Explain, Commander." Riel's optics whirred, scanning Mara. "Our shock troops shattered their lines. This one survived orbital drop, plasma barrage, and pincer enclosure. Standard human training, or myth?" "Prove it weak," Sorith said. "Arena. Live feed to all legions. Demonstrate our supremacy." Riel seized Mara's arm. "Move, mammal." She matched his stride through vaulted corridors. Krath soldiers parted, hissing whispers. "Human stands before the Queen." It ignored the prod. Mara catalogued details. Bulkhead seams every 5 meters. Gravity vents humming low. Sidearms on every third guard. They entered the arena under blinding spotlights, a circular pit, sand-floored, ringed by tiered seats filling with officers. Holocams orbited like drones. Rio shoved her to center. A portcullis ground open opposite. 3 hulking Krath gladiators emerged. Breachers, by their vibro-axes and shield pauldrons, twice her mass each. "Water," Mara said. "Voice, even." Rio paused. "What? Thirsty?" Standard before exertion. She tugged her cuffs lightly. Testing GIF. 2 millimeters play in the left. Acceptable. A drone, word down. Extruded a nozzle. Cool liquid filled her mouth. She drank deep, eyes sweeping exits. Main gate sealed. 2 emergency hatches overhead. Force fielded. Gladiators circled, axes humming. Dr. Ilham Cyan approached the railing, datapad glowing. The analyst's lab coat fluttered over thinner robes. No warrior build. Commander. Vitals stable. Heart rate nominal. No fear pheromones detected. Fascinating. "Quiet!" Rio snapped. "Begin." First gladiator charged. Mara sidestepped, sand spraying. Axe whistled past her ear. She rolled under its shield arm. Drove elbow into knee joint. Crack, chitin, fractured. It bellowed, staggering. Prod murmured. Second gladiator flanked. Axe high. Mara dropped low, swept leg into its ankle strut. It toppled. She yanked its dropped stun baton from belt. Thumbed active. Zap against neck vents. Seizure locked its limbs. Third hesitated. Mara straightened, baton humming. Your move. It roared, bull rushed. She vaulted its back, using the fallen one's shield as ramp. Landed atop, baton jammed into dorsal exhaust. Sparks flew. It collapsed, smoking. Silence blanketed the arena. Real's mandibles gaped. Sorith watched from royal box crest flat. Submission signal. "Restrain it!" Rel yelled. Guards swarmed. Mara dropped baton. "Hands up!" They reapplied cuffs, dragged her to holding cells. But whispers followed. It dismantled breaches bare, without rage. In the dim cell, Dr. Illim entered alone. Neural scanner hummed on his pad. "Sergeant Vance, your aggression defies models. Quantify. Pain threshold. Loyalty metric." Mara sat on the bunk, wrists chained to wall. Thirsty again? He blinked. Optics. Irrelevant. Krath doctrine breaks wills via intimidation. You adapt. Why? Training. She flexed fingers, noting scanner frequencies. Assess threat. Prioritize. Execute. Ilum tapped furiously. Threats, 3 elite. You cataloged in seconds. Exits, weak points. Humans all thus? Standard infantry. She leaned forward. Your breachers telegraph swings. Exhaust ports vulnerable to overload. Fix that. He froze. Data scrolled unintended on his pad. Legion deployments, supply lines on Epsilon Verge. Mara memorized. Weak flank at Grid 7. Alpha, ammo convoy tomorrow. Error, Illy muttered, yanking pad. You arm prey now. He fled. Hours later, alarms blared. Real burst in with guards. Perimeter breach. Human auxiliaries hit convoy. Exact factors. Mara smiled faintly. Guessed wrong? Real's claw gripped her throat. You leaked nothing. Trained eyes see plenty. She held his gaze. Calm. Sarith's vox crackled, fleet-wide. Cease, advance. Human enclaves, regroup. This one's logic predicts our moves. Real released her. Queen summons. Negotiate terms. They marched her back to Throne Bay. Sarith stood. No dace this time. Warrior, your kind turns defeat to parity. Name price for alliance. Mara stood straight. Pullback from Verge. POW exchange. Tech share. Defensive only. Sarith's eyes gleamed. Accepted. Commander, comply. Real saluted, optics on Mara. Myth made real. Mara nodded once. Checklist complete. War paused. For now. But in the hollow feeds looping empire-wide, one image burned. The human who stood. Commander Real Tovan triggered the gate release. 3 enforcers burst into the containment arena, their armored claws scraping ferrocrete. Shock patterns hummed at full charge. The human prisoner, Staff Sergeant Mara Vance, stood chained at the center. No flinch, no plea. Test her limits, Real barked into the vox. Holofeeds captured every angle for Queen Surith's review. His optics locked on the human. Primitive species. Unarmored, yet reports from Epsilon Verge called her kind, relentless. He needed data, weaknesses to exploit. The first enforcer lunged, a hulking Kefari brute. 2 meters of reinforced carapace. Baton arced down. Mara sidestepped. Her head snapped forward. Skull cracked against the enforcer's visor. A spiderweb fracture bloomed. The brute staggered. Optics flickering. Real's mandibles clicked. Impossible. Human bone versus Cathari alloy. She grabbed the stunned enforcer's baton mid-swing, wrenched it free. The weapon's hum spiked as she reversed it, jammed the prongs into the exhaust port at the brute's neck joint. Sparks erupted. The enforcer convulsed, armor locking rigid. Mara shoved. It toppled like scrap. Gasps echoed from the observation deck. Real's analysts leaned forward. Neural overload, one muttered. She targeted the vent in half a second. Second enforcer charged. Faster this time. Claws extended for a disemboweling rake. Mara spun the stolen baton, cracked it across the incoming knee servo. Metal groaned. The enforcer lurched forward, off balance. She drove the baton into its primary optic cluster. Blue arcs danced. It howled, clawing blindly. She sidestepped again, delivered a precise stomp to the baton hilt protruding from its face. The weapon burrowed deeper. Second enforcer dropped, twitching. Rio's claws tightened on the console. 2 down. 8 seconds. Her movements flowed like a combat sim on endless loop. No rage. No waste. Just efficiency. Third enforcer circled, wary now. Prime hunter caste. Elite among legions. It feinted left, baton probing. Mara tested her restraints. One chain link weakened from prior scuffle with guards. Snapped under tension. She whipped the broken end. Like a garrote. Yanked hard. The enforcer stumbled forward, baton raised too high. Mara ducked under the swing. Looped the chain around its wrist guard. Pulled with body weight. Joint popped. Baton clattered free. She scooped it up. Dual-wielded now. First baton to the groin actuator. Smoke billowed. Second to the helm seal. The enforcer collapsed. Systems frying. Silence gripped the deck. Rio's vox feed crackled. Queen Sarith's voice cut through. Halt. Extract the specimen. Guards swarmed the arena. Mara dropped the batons but kept the broken chain coiled in her fist. She stood amid 3 smoking hulks, chest steady, eyes scanning exits. No sweat, no boasts. Rel strode down. Up close, the human barely reached his shoulder plate. Yet, enforcers, his best, lay dismantled. You fight like a myth beast, he growled, mandibles flexing. What training breeds this? Standard infantry, Mara said. Flat tone. English words translated crisp via implant. Yours, telegraph. Fix vents. His optics narrowed. She catalogued them. Already. Secure her, Real ordered. Warship bay. Priority transport for study. Shackles clicked anew. Reinforced this time. Mara complied. Walked out flanked by twice the guard. In her wake she left their weapons. 2 batons and a chain whip. Trophies inert on the floor. Rail lingered. Hollow replay looped. Headbutt. Steal. Yank. Disarm, his analysts buzzed. Reconfigure all enforcer designs, he snapped. Vents sealed. Telegraphs minimized. Dr. Ilim Sayin approached, pad glowing. Commander, her vitals. Elevated adrenaline, but controlled. Like she runs these odds daily. Daily, Rio's claws scraped. Humans turned skirmishes into routes on the verge. This one predicted patrols. Now she shredded elites bare-handed. Prep full neuroscan on the warship. Decode her logic. The deck shuddered as shuttles prepped. Queen Sarith's decree fleet-wide. Study yields conquest. Fail, and we adapt. Or break. Real boarded the lead shuttle. Mara sat chained opposite, gaze forward. Calm, he probed. Your empire sends one warrior. We send legions. Why fight? She met his optics. You hit hard first. We adapt. Always. Shuttle launched. Stars streaked past viewports. Real's mind raced. Her standard dismantled doctrine. Intimidation failed. What else? Docking clamps engaged. Warship corridors hummed. Guards marched Mara to Isolation Bay. Real followed, optics on her stride. No limp from the brawl. No fatigue. Ilum waited in the bay. Scanners primed. Subject Vance, we quantify your aggression. Mara sat. Chains locked to the slab. Quantify away. Probes attached. Holoscreens flickered. Ilum tapped. Stress response to enforcers. Threat assessment? Mara said. 3 elites. Armored. Batons charge at 80%. Gave it away. First vent exposed. Second knee weak on turn. Third, overcommitted. Ilum froze. Data scrolled unintended. Legion schematics. Epsilon verge grids. Supply vectors. Real lunged. Seal that. Too late. Mara's eyes flicked. Memorized. Grid 7. Alpha. Weak flank. Convoy route. Error. Ilum yanked the pad. Fled the bay. Real gripped Mara's chains. You see too much. Trained eyes, she replied. Unblinking, alarms wailed ship-wide. Perimeter breach. Human auxiliaries struck the convoy. Exact path. Real's Vox exploded. How? Mara smiled faint. Checklist ticked. Queen Sareth's command overrode. Cease said Vance. This human predicts us. Rael released her, marched her to Throne Bay. Sorith stood, level, no dais. Warrior, the Queen said. Name alliance price. Pull from verge. Pause. Defensive tech. Done. Sorith's eyes gleamed. Myth incarnate. Mara nodded. Stood. War. Paused, but Rael watched holofeeds burn Empire nets, the human departing with enforcer's gear. 3 weapons claimed. 1 soldier unbroken. He saluted her shadow. Doctrine rewritten. Fear bloomed anew. Dr. Ilum Sand snapped the neural probe against Mara's forearm. It pinched like a dull needle. Calibration complete, Ilum announced. His claws danced over the console. Human subject Vance. We map your aggression thresholds now. Cooperate, and pain minimizes. Mara flexed her fingers inside the restraints. Steel cuffs locked into the slab, arms spread, legs pinned. The lab's sterile hum filled the air. Vents hissing recycled oxygen. Screens flickering blue. She scanned the room. 3 exit hatches, 2 guarded. Tool racks along the wall, actuators glowing on the main door panel. Quantify away, she said, voice even. Heart rate steady at 60 beats. Ilum's mandibles clicked approval. He activated the rig. Probes warmed, injecting microcurrents into her nerves. Baseline readings spiked across the holo displays. Adrenaline trace, cortisol nominal. Stress test 1, Ilum intoned. Threat simulation. A panel irised open. 3 enforcers stomped in. Kethari elites, 7 feet tall, chitin armor gleaming under floodlights. Batons extended, tips sparking 80% charge. Mara noted the hum, power coils whining high. The lead enforcer lunged. Baton arced toward her ribs. Mara inhaled deep. Controlled. Diaphragm locked. She visualized the kill house back on Titan base. Flashbangs, suppressed fire, tang of cordite, pupils dilated on command. Heart rocketed to 180. Probe screamed, overload. Red warnings flashed. Ilim jerked upright. Impossible. Human baseline cannot. She pushed harder. Muscles clenched to failure point. Lactic burn flooded her limbs. Sensors bucked. Graphs flatlined into static. Sparks popped from the console. The rig's core whined, emergency protocols kicking in. System reboot initiated. A neutral voice droned from overhead. Lights dimmed. Hatches hissed half shut. Mara's cuffs loosened a fraction. Thermal expansion from the surge. She twisted her left wrist, bone grinding against alloy. Pop, thumb slipped free. Pulse steady despite the fire in her shoulder. Ilum scrambled for the override. Containment! Alert Commander Rel. Enforcers charged. Mara rolled right, yanking the loose cuff like a garrote. She snatched a calibration spanner from the slab's edge. 6 inches of durasteel, heft perfect. First enforcer swung low. She parried. Spanner cracking knee joint. Chitin splintered. The alien buckled, baton clattering. Second enforcer grabbed her arm. Mara drove the spanner into its vent grill, main intake. Gears ground. It staggered, choking on smoke. Door actuators whirred open behind her. Escape vector clear for 10 seconds. She bolted. Bare feet slapped deck plates. Third enforcer blocked the hatch. Mara feinted high, drove low spanner into underbelly seam. Soft tissue yielded. It howled, collapsing. Ilium's voice cracked over Vox. Deck seal. Lethal protocols. Bulkhead slammed. Mara jammed the spanner into the actuator gear. Metal shrieked. The door froze half open, 12 inches gap. Enough. She squeezed through. Corridor lights strobed red. Alarms wailed ship-wide. Footsteps thundered. Commander Rieltavan rounded the bend, plasma rifle leveled. His crest flared aggression red. 6 troops flanked him, field swords humming. Halt, human! Riel barked. Translator lagged, but intent clear. Mara raised empty hands. Spanner discarded, standing down. Riel advanced, rifle trained on her chest. You breached our core lab. Overloaded a Class 4 neural rig. How? Training, Mara said. Breath even. No sweat beyond the norm. Stress tests are checklists. Yours glitched. Troops cuffed her anew. Triple lock this time. Riel's eyes narrowed, scanning her vitals on wristpad. Readings defy logic. Peak output rivaled a berserker drone, yet controlled. They marched her back. Ilim waited in the lab, screens rebooting. Data scrolled unintended. Legion schematics bloomed on the main hollow. Epsilon verge grids. Supply convoys marked in pulsing red. Weak flank at 7. Alpha. Mara's gaze flicked, committed to memory. Routes, escorts, timelines. Human auxiliaries could hit that in hours. Ilim yanked the pad. Error! Purge! Riel lunged forward. Seal that display! Too late. His Vox exploded with overrides. Mara kept her face blank. Checklist ticked. Intel acquired. Riel gripped her shoulder. Claws dimpled skin but didn't pierce. You see too much, soldier. Trained eyes, she replied. Unblinking. Alarms escalated. Perimeter breach reports flooded the deck. Human strike teams hit the convoy. Exact Vector 7, Alpha. Explosions rocked the hull. Real's face paled under kitten. "How?" he snarled, whirling on Ilum. The analyst stammered. "Her spike. It cross-wired the feeds. She weaponized the test." Rael stared at Mara. Awe flickered in his stance. Rifle dipped a millimeter. He voxed the bridge. "Queen Surith, we have a myth here." The throne bay doors parted an hour later. Mara walked unchained, flanked by enforcers. No resistance now. Queen Surith Valketh stood at deck level. No dyes, no guards between them. Her crown pulsed with biolume threads, eyes like polished obsidian. "Warrior," Surith said. Voice resonated, bypassing translators. "You predict our moves. Turn our tools against us. Name your alliance price." Mara met her gaze. "Pull forces from Epsilon Verge. Release all POWs. Share defensive shield tech. Schematics only." Surith's mandibles parted in what Mara guessed was a smile. "Done. Transmitted now. Holo screens confirmed. Orders cascading empire-wide. Fleets reversed. Pods launched with prisoners." Real watched from the side. His crest lay flat, submission gesture. "Your standard training shatters doctrines. We built fear as weapon. You make it yours." Mara nodded once. "Just doing the job." Surith extended a claw. "Not threat, offer." Mara clasped it. Grip firm. Enforcers escorted her out. She claimed their gear mid-march. One baton slung low. A field sword, balanced across back. Third baton for the armory runt who protested. Ship shuddered as it docked with neutral exchange vessel. Mara stepped aboard. Human Marines saluted, grins wide. Behind, Rel saluted her shadow through the viewport. Empire nets burned with updates. Doctrine rewritten. Never anger humans. But Mara didn't see. She checked her checklist. Next up, secure the Verge. War paused, not ended. Hull breach sirens wailed anew, deeper in Cathari space. Another convoy hit, her intel spreading. Queen Surith's voice echoed in Rael's comms. "Decode her logic, Commander, or we all break next." Rael pulled up the lab footage. Mera's comm spike, the reboot, the jam. He replayed it frame by frame. Fear bloomed. One soldier, unbroken. Dr. Ilum approached, datapad trembling. "Commander, her vitals, they call it flow state. But ours would fry circuits." Real nodded. "Train ours to it. Or find gods." Across the void, Mara Vance settled into her bunk. Baton disassembled, parts cleaned. Sword oiled. Sleep came fast. Tomorrow they pushed. In the Empire's core, Surith summoned analysts. "This human's normal is our terror. Adapt or perish." Holomaps shifted. Human alliances bloomed red. The Queen's claw tapped Mara's profile. "Myth incarnate," she murmured, and we woke it. Real's fleet reformed, not conquest, but defense. Probes launched towards Sol. Not invasion. Observation. M-Deck 8 plunged into darkness. Commander Real Tovan's holoconsole erupted in crimson alerts. Strobes kicked in, painting the corridors in bloody pulses. His Marines froze on the grid overlay. "Report!" Rail snapped. "Power junction 47B overloaded." The tech stammered. "Auxiliaries cycling." Human heat sig loose in vents. Reel's claws dug into the armrest. The prisoner, Mara Vance, had breached containment 12 minutes ago. One soldier. No weapons beyond scavenged baton and boot knife. Yet his elite guards lay stunned. Or worse, she's masking on strobes, Reel growled. Redirect Alpha and Beta squads to ventral shafts. Drones to flush her out. Doctor, saying SEAL lab sectors. The analyst's voice crackled over comms. Commander, her pattern. It's adaptive, like she planned the blackout. Reel muted the channel. Hunters reduced to prey. By a human standard training. Mara Vance. Ghosted through the throbbing strobes. Red light strobed her path. 5 seconds on, 3 off. Perfect rhythm to blur motion. Checklist item 1. Power down. Done. She wedged her boot knife into a vent grate. Twisted. Popped free. Beyond. Drone whirs echoed. 3 units, thermal scans sweeping. Maritimed the strobe pulse. Slid out low. Baton extended. The lead drone hovered into view. Optic lenses whirring. She lunged. Baton cracked its chassis. Sparks flew. It dropped. Second drone spun, firing stun darts. Mara rolled under the burst. Came up swinging. Baton speared its underbelly. Wiring sizzled. Third drone banked high. Alarm klaxon blaring. Mara leaped, grabbed its landing strut. Yanked down. It crashed. She pinned it, ripped open the access panel. Power cell glowed blue, fist-sized, humming with juice. Perfect, she muttered. Humans ran on worse in basic. She jammed the cell into a wall conduit. Overloaded the regulator with a stripped wire. Flash trap set. Strobe cycle would ignite it. Blinding overload. Footsteps approached. Heavy Cathari boots. Mara melted into shadow. Doctor. Elim Sign clutched his datapad, leading 2 guards down the corridor. Drone loss pinged his feed. The human's vitals from interrogation replayed. Heart rate steady at 70 BPM amid flow state. Alien physiology shattered under half that stress. Containment breach at 47B, Elim announced. Scan for... White light exploded. The flash trap detonated. Conduit blew in a deafening crack. Guards clutched scorched faces, mandibles slack. Ilium's vision swam, ears ringing. A shadow pinned him. Human arm locked his throat. Baton pressed his temple. Map, Mara said. Calm. No shout. Baton hummed with stolen charge. Ilum wheezed. Datapad shoved into her grip. Ship schematics bloomed. Core roots. Comm spine marked red. Main comms, she asked. Deck. 6, he gasped. Armored. She released. Ilum sprawled. Mara crouched close. Run to your queen. Tell her, humans negotiate, or we checklist your empire. Ilum scrambled up. Guards groaned, blind. He bolted, patch tracker, disabled by her quick swipe. Mara pocketed the device. Next, comm spine. Disrupt their net. Force talks. Reel's console lit with fresh pings. Drones down. Flash anomaly at junction 52. Doctor saying fleeing topside, babbling on open channel. Human captured him, a Marine reported. Traded for data access. She's vectoring comm spine. Reel slammed a claw down. Obsession burned. Frame by frame lab footage haunted him. Vans rebooting their jammer mid-interrogation. Spike of focus, not panic. Her logic: predict, adapt, execute. Cathari doctrine crumbled against it. Full redirect, Rail ordered. Gamma squad from engineering. Beta's flank dorsal vents. Corner her at the spine. Lethal force authorized. Marines surged on the hollow. Trap closing, but Real's gut twisted. One human rewrote his war. Queen Sorith's directive echoed. Decode her! War break. He pulled Vance's profile. Infantry NCO. Standard training. To them, myth terror. Mara sprinted the access shaft. Map glow dimmed. Strobes faded here. Deeper decks ran independence. Air hummed with distant klaxons. Cathari Marines thundered above and below. She dropped to deck 6. Comspine loomed, armored hatch pulsing with data streams. Baton wouldn't breach it. Needed charge. Pry bar from a panel. Levered the seam. Sparks. Hiss open. Inside, fiber cables snaked like veins. Mara slashed 3 primaries. Nets would stutter. Fleet comms jammed for hours. Boots echoed. Marines poured in from both ends, 10 strong. Pulse rifles charged. Human. Surrender. The lead barked, translator chip glitching fear scent. Mara backed to the spine console. No exit. Checklist. Improvise. She yanked a cable cluster, sparks arced. Threw it at the front rank. EMP burst staggered them. Shields flickered. Rifle fire scorched bulkheads. Mara dove, baton whipping a rifle away. Grabbed it. Fired. Point blank. Marine dropped. They swarmed. Claws raked her arm. Blood welled. She ignored. Flow state locked in. Basic CQB. Close. Control. Counter. Baton cracked a mandible. Boot stomped a knee joint. Rifle butt to helm. 5 down. 5 closing. Lead Marine lunged. Rel's colors on his pauldron. Yield! He roared. Your logic! We study it. Mara sidestepped. Tripped him into cables. Spine overloaded. Whole deck shuddered. Last Marine fired wild. She disarmed. Pinned. Rifle to his throat. Alarms wailed. Reinforcements inbound. But comms silent. Her jam held. Real rose from the tangle, mandibles agape. Watched her checklist eyes. Calm scan. No rage. Just next step. You're unbroken, he whispered. Mara, bound the last. Stood radio your queen. Verge convoys stop. We talk terms. Hull breach sirens howled deeper in. Bigger. Fight inbound. Real keyed is calm. Silence. Her work. One soldier. Empire paused. Queen Sorth's voice cut through static. Commander, report her position. Real stared at Mara. Coward majesty. And winning. Fear bloomed anew. They hunted myth. Queen Sorith's mandibles snapped over the open comm. Live feed her end, Commander. Broadcast across the fleet. Let them witness praise fall. Mara Vance kept the scavenged rifle steady on the pinned Marine's throat. Blood trickled from her raked arm. Ignored it. Sirens wailed louder. Hull breaches spreading coreward. Reinforcements closed fast. Real stood rigid, his pauldron lights flickering from the cable overload. His eyes locked on her. Not fear. Calculation. Studying. Acknowledged majesty. Real rasped. He tapped his helm. Feed activated. Red telltales blinked on every Marine visor in the deck. Fleet-wide now. Billions watching one human cornered. Mara noted the lights. Broadcast. Fine. Checklist updated. Deny the show. She kicked the bound Marine's comm-pack, snapped its antenna, jammed local. But fleet feed. Deeper net. Maintenance console 10 meters starboard. Glowing access panel. Goal. Hijack. She yanked Rill's baton from his slack grip. Tossed the rifle to him. Hold this. Nice. Rill caught it reflexively. Mandibles parted. No human yielded weapons. Mara sprinted. Claws scraped deck behind. Last unbound Marine lunged. She vaulted a crate. Boot heel cracked his reaching claw. Rolled. Console hatch pried open with baton tip. Wires exposed. Human standard. Adapt tech. She ripped a data cable. Cross-linked to audio out. Plugged her dog tags. Embedded ID chip. As override. FleetNet vulnerable to analog hacks. Old Earth trick. Console sparked. Hacked. Open comm seized. Mara keyed her throat mic. Jury rigged from Marine gear. Fleet broadcast hers now. She hummed low. Then chanted Earth battle cadence. Steady rhythm. Left, right, left. Sound off. Static crackled fleet-wide. Billions of Keth Marines froze. Cadence echoed. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. Queen Sorith reared on her throne dais. Bridge feeds showed the human at console. Chanting. No scream. No plea. Rhythm pulsed like war drums. What sorcery? Silence it. Dr. Ilham Sion hunched at analysis station. Probes danced over human vitals relayed from rail suit. Majesty. Aggression metric off scale. Heart steady. No cortisol spike. This is ritual combat focus. Mara vaulted from console. Cadence looped auto broadcast now. Marines poured from vents. 20. Phalanx formation. Shields locked. She led them. Away from Rel. Toward coreward choke point. Narrow vent shaft. Blast doors half jammed from breaches. Perfect funnel. Follow! Reel barked into his comm. Marines surged after her. Fleet watched. Queen demanded humiliation. Mara gave chase. She dashed into shaft boots, pounded grated floor, echoed cadence. If I die in the old drop zone, box me up and ship me home. Marines funneled in. Shields interlocked. Claws primed. Lead rank fired stun lances. Blue arcs scorched walls. Mara slapped a bulkhead panel. Timed it. First blast door. Irised half shot. Trapped front 5. She palmed emergency purge vent exhaust vents. Plasma burst. Shields held. But formation buckled. Rear ranks shoved forward. Second panel. The baton jammed the sensor. Doors started open. Then slammed. Crushed to mid-stride. Claws flailed. Cadence thrummed. Pin my medals upon my chest. Tell my mama I did my best. Fleet feeds captured it. Perfect. Mara rolled under fire, grabbed a dropped lance, overloaded it against wall. EMP pulse. 5 shields down. Rifle spat. She weaved. Fired lance point blank. Marine spasmed. Dropped. Phalanx reformed. 15 left. They advanced. Methodical. Keth doctrine. Overwhelm locked ranks. Mara retreated deeper. Shaft narrowed. Final choke. Coolant junction. Pipes hissed steam. She slapped charges. Ripped from marine harnesses. Timed 10 seconds. Dove into side duct. tight squeeze. Humans small, Marines charged. Pipes ruptured on cue. Superheated coolant flooded. Timed blasts secondary rupture seals, shattered shields. Screams cut cadence. 10 boiled, 5 staggered out, armor melting. Fleet gasped. Analyst feed spiked. Human predicts our flow. Breaks it. Real watched from shaft mouth. Feed personal now. Human crawled from duct. Soot streaked. Carm scan. No wounds added. Baton twirled. Your turn, colors. He keyed fleet command. Desperate. All ships. Bombard this vector. Forward shaft grid 4, 7. 9. Vaporize her. Queen Surith overrode. Risk acceptable. Fire. Orbital barrages lit. Ship-to-ship lances. Stabbed hull. Deck shuddered. Reels Marines. His surviving 5 froze. Own crew. In blast cone. Commander! One clawed. Evac. Press. Reel roared. Obsessed. Decode her logic. Here charged. Baton reclaimed. No. Empty claws. Mara emerged. Lance and grip. Saw rail lead. Respected that. Aliens competent. Numbers. Tech. Humans. Improvise. She fired wide. Scorched his pauldron. Halted charge. Bombardment. Inbound. Your call. Hull buckled. Alarms screamed. Breach seals failed. Vacuum tugged. Reels Marines. Anchored claws. He stood firm. Feed showed it. Human warning enemy. Dr. Illen's voice cut comms. Majesty. Human aggression. Adaptive. Quantified. 300% over Keth max. She forces negotiation geometry. Queen Sorith silenced bridge. Feeds looped cadence. Human stood amid wreckage. Reels ranks broken. Bombardment lances pierced. Grazed shaft. Bone Marines vaporized in flash. 4 gone. One crawled, clawing for her. Mara pinned him. Baton to throat. Reel faced her. Mandibles slack. Your checklist defies models. Standard training, Mara said. Flat. No brag. Radio Queen. Convoys halt. Terms now. Real keyed throne link. Static cleared. Cadence faded under his words. Majesty. Human holds shaft. Fleet watches. She wins. Pause. Endless. Then Queen's voice. Still. Cracked. Terms. Transmit coordinates. No pursuit. Fleet stilled. Billions processed. One soldier. Broadcast meant to break human spirit. Broke Empire doctrine instead. Mara lowered baton. Bound the last. Hull groaned. Bombardment paused. Bigger breaches vented atmosphere. She eyed Reel. Good call on the feed. Saved explaining. He stared. Awe flickered. Never anger human. Too late. They knew. Forward alarms spiked anew. Convoys. No. Human reinforcements inbound. Empire negotiated with myth. Commander Rel Tavan's claw stabbed the seal command. Hangar bay doors groaned shut. Hydraulics whining under strain. His forward squads locked into position. 200 Keth Marines in phalanx formation. Lancers humming brew. They ringed the human's breach point. Feed cams caught her. Staff Sergeant Mara Vance. skidding across scorched deck plating, pulse rifle bucking. One Marine vaporized, thorax brooming plasma. Another charged. She cracked its leg joint with her baton, dropped flat, fired upward. Efficient, ruthless. Full containment, Reel growled into comms. No escape vectors. Overwhelm on my mark. Marines advanced, claws scraping. They funneled toward her. Shields interlocked. Doctor. Ilum Cyan's voice crackled secondary channel. Commander, her vitals stable. Aggression index spiking. Wait. No fear markers. She's inventorying assets. Reel ignored it. Feed zoomed. Mara vaulted a crate stack, slammed shoulder into a shuttle hatch. Keth, auxiliary craft. Light freighter model, unarmed. Doors hissed open. She vanished inside. Target shuttle! Reel snapped. Lance barrage, engines first. His vanguard pivoted. Lances spat coherent fire. Bolts scorched hull plating, melted one-thruster nacelle. Marines closed the noose, 50 meters out, shields rippling under return fire. Mara's rifle spoke from the cockpit viewport, picking off squad leads. Phalanx wavered, reformed. Textbook suppression. Then, sparks flew from the shuttle's underbelly. External service panel pried open by her baton. Wires crossed. Reel's optics narrowed. What is she? Engines roared to life. Uneven. One nacelle slagged, but power surged. Clamp arms meant for cargo grapples, extended with a metallic screech. Safety overrides bypassed. Readout spiked. Hydraulic rams armed. Force multipliers at max. Doctor. Ilum yelped. Adaptive repurposing! She's turning it into a battering ram. Quantify. Yield equivalent to breacher drone swarm. Full line charge! Reel bellowed. Pin her before takeoff! Marines surged. 3 ranks deep, shields forward, lances thrusting. The shuttle lifted wobbly, venting smoke, but accelerated straight at the phalanx center. Marines fired en masse. Hull blackened, canopy crazed but held. Collision klaxons screamed ship-wide. Impact. Shuttle nose crumpled into the front rank. Clamp arms snapped down like jaws. First row impaled. Armor-shearing bulkhead behind them. Momentum carried forward. Second rank crushed against pinned comrades. Limbs pulped. Bulkheads buckled inward. Sparks exploding. Marines scattered left-right. But the gap yawned. Shuttle wedged. Third rank smeared across deck. Reel's feed shook. Alarms redlined. Breach. Vector control seal sectors. Mara gunned reverse thrusters. Clamps retracted, ripping free. Wreckage tumbled. She punched forward through the gap, shuttle sides grinding Marines aside, one claw snagging a wing, tearing off. Hull screamed, bay doors buckled under emergency override. She blasted through, vanishing into the void. Reel anchored against recoil. Deck shuddered. Casualty ping, 87 down. Pinned or vented. Phalanx shattered. Pursuit wings. Track that shuttle. Throne channel pierced comms. Queen Sarith Valketh's voice, ice over steel. Commander Rail. Report. Live feed. He keyed visuals. Multi-angle replays looped. Human emergence. Hot wire. Ram charge. Silence stretched. His mandibles clicked on ease. One soldier. Standard infantry kit. His empire's finest. Numbers doctrine incarnate. Reduced to scrap in seconds. Adaptive terror. Doctor. Ilum interjected, unbidden. Her logic, threat assessment, asset conversion, kinetic denial. Humans train this? Models fail. She's forcing renegotiation vectors. Silence, Queen's tone sliced. Fleet, disposition, lock tractor beams. No escape. Sensors lit. Pursuit squadrons peeled from main formation. 20 Talons, interceptors sleek and armed to gut corvettes. Shuttle signature blinked weak, limping coreward on emergency drive. They closed fast, lances charging, then shuttle comms burst open. Human voice, calm broadcast on all channels, no encryption. Directed, Earthward. This is Staff Sergeant Mara Vance. On USF ground pounder. Convoys holding but Kef empires on my tail. Hotwired their junker. Bot time. Send the heavies. Coordinates embedded. Never anger a human. Out. Static. Fleet bridge fell mute. Reels claws flexed. Message looped on tactical. Billions of nodes processed it. Open taunt. Precise data packet. Convoys. Human supply lines pinned earlier. She turned capture into beacon. Queen's voice returned. Fractured. Pursue. Tractor. Bring me the human intact. Decode this. Checklist. Interceptors fired grapples. Shuttle jinked slag nacelle sparking, but she rolled hard, evading first lock. Plasma grazed. Sheer destabilizer. Rio leaned in to feed. Obsessed now. How? Wounded craft. Outnumbered 20-1. Yet she vector cut through formation gaps, using their massed fire against them. Bolts clipping pursuers in crossfire. One interceptor exploded. Grapple rebounding into its wingmate. Mara vectored debris cloud vanished in chaff bloom. Sensors scrambled. Regain lock! Reel roared. Doctor! Ilum's data streamed. Her maneuvers. Predictive. Models their lance patterns. She's learning us faster than we adapt. Queen cut in. Abort pursuit. Regroup on primary vectors. Human reinforcements inbound per her transmission. Terms prep. This soldier rewrites doctrine. Rio stared at blank senses. Shuttle gone. One human. Hot-wired shuttle into myth weapon. Calm voice mocking from void. His marines, elite claws, scattered like chaff. Awe, nod. Never anger humans. Too late. Corward scopes pinged. Shadows bloomed. Human heavies. Right on her call. Empire's intimidation cracked. Negotiation geometry shifted. One checklist away from myth. Rael Tavan leveled his pulse rifle at the cycling airlock. Red lights pulsed along the corridor bulkheads. His elite claw guard, 20 armored Cathari, claws extended, lances humming, flanked him in a kill-box formation. Human codes had sliced their defenses clean. Dozens of drop pods had punched through the flagship's outer hull, reinforcements flooding in on Mara's signal. Alarms wailed. Hold fire until visual, Rio snarled. The inner seal irised open. Staff Sergeant Mara Vance stepped through first. No charge, no scan sweep. She walked calm, carbine slung low across her chest plate. 6 human marines fanned behind her. Weapons hot but steady. Her helmet hung from her belt. Sweat-damp hair framed a face etched with fatigue lines, not fear. She glanced at the claw guard phalanx, nodded once, like noting a traffic jam. Human, Reel barked through the translator node. Surrender your arms. The Queen demands your presence intact. Mara halted 10 meters out, raised one gloved hand, palm out, universal halt. Her marines froze mid-stride. She eyed his formation. Sergeant Vance, UN Marine Corps. We're here for the Queen. Path clear? His claws twitched. Intel from Dr. Ilum scrolled his visor. Human aggression metrics off scale. She'd vectored a wounded shuttle through 20 interceptors, turned their fire into kill chains. Now this, leading heavies, straight to the throne core. His guards shifted lances, whining to full charge. One twitch, and the corridor became a plasma slaughterhouse. Cathari doctrine: intimidate, overwhelm, break. But her eyes flicked past him. Mapped vents, bulkhead seams, emergency hatches. Checklist: learning his ship mid-confrontation. A Marine behind her tapped his wrist pad. Fresh scans beamed to her. Real's threat displays spiked. Her squad had jacked the local net already. Drop weapons, Real repeated. Voice edged lower. Or we glass this deck. Mara tilted her head, pulled a data slate from her vest, tapped it alive. Stolen codes got us here. Fleet layouts from your interrogator. Thanks, Doc. Reinforcements hold the bays. Your queen's flagged a parley. We talk. Or I check off breach protocols. She stepped forward. One boot. His lead guard lunged, lance thrusting. Mara sidestepped fluid, rifle butt cracking the Cathari's mandible. The alien crumpled, gurgling. Marines surged half a meter. Real's claw guard raised lances in unison. 20-6. Easy math. Except her squad didn't panic. They flowed into cover, using his own bulkheads, predicted from scans. Mara stood exposed. Fired a single suppressed burst into the deck plating. Sparks flew. A pressure seal ruptured with a hiss. Corridor lights flickered. Non-lethal warning, she said. Flat. Next vent your troops' air. Real's HUD screamed. Humans sealed their suits in the breach. His guards gasped, claws retracting instinctive. She'd turned his kill box into a death trap for them. One human, rewriting the geometry. Obsession burned, decode her, but billions dead if he pushed. Empire doctrine cracked. Stand down! Rel roared. Rifles lowered. His guards backed up. Mandibles clicking awe retreat. Escort protocols. Sergeant Vance to the throne chamber. Unmolested. Mara slung her carbine. Appreciated, Commander. She waved her Marines forward. They flowed past, eyes locked on his troops. No gloating, just procedure. Real fell in beside her, two guards trailing. Corridor monitors showed human heavies clamping the outer bays, plasma lancers carving airlocks but holding fire. Per her transmission. Parlay geometry. Dr. Ilum's voice crackled his calm. Commander, her vitals stable. Adrenaline baseline. This is standard for them. Shut it, Real hissed. They reached the throne antechamber. Double doors parted on his code. Queen Sorith Valketh waited within, elevated on her dais. Nantocrawls flexed around data orbs. Her personal guard ringed the chamber, 50 elites grav lances primed. Holodisplays swirled, Empire fleets regrouping coreward, human convoys unpinned, billions of nodes recalculating. The Queen loomed twice Mara's height, iridescent chitin gleaming under throne lights. Antennae quivered as Mara entered. Real halted at the threshold. His Marines peeled off to outer bays, securing, not advancing. Sorith's multifaceted eyes fixed on the human. Voice boomed through amplifiers, translators smooth. Sergeant Mara Vance, the soldier who shattered 3 legions, hot-wired my interceptor's queen node, broadcasted our lance pattern flaws empire-wide. I expected a berserker, a monster clad in rage. Mara stopped at the dais base, saluted crisp fist to chest. "Ma'am, Staff Sergeant Vance reporting. Terms." The Queen recoiled a fraction. Antennae stilled. Real. Tensed. No rage, no demands for submission. Checklist. Sarith recovered. Orb spun faster. Your checklist rewrites our doctrine. Predictive maneuvers. Adaptive breaches. Humanity's standard training. It defies quantification. Dr. Ilham's models failed. She extended a signing claw. Data slate materializing in a grav field. Ceasefire terms. Withdraw your heavies from Cathari core space. Release our captured nodes. In exchange, all human prisoners returned. Borders redrawn at pre-conquest lines. Sign, and war ends. Rel's mandibles parted. Concession from the Queen who glassed a dozen worlds. Her eyes bored into Mara, searching for the myth beast. Mara scanned the slate. Nodded. Core space pullback. Check. Node release. Check. Prisoners first. Full roster. No exceptions. Medical scans confirm health. She thumbed her pad. Human auth codes pinged across. Transmitting countersign. Ceasefire holds 48 hours for verification. Saurus Quaw hesitated. Then stamped the orb seal. Data burst empire-wide. Fleet stilled. Agreed. Prisoners en route to your bays. Mara pocketed her slate. Saluted again. Understood, ma'am. My team's extracting now. She turned. Walked out. No speech. No victory roar. Boots echoed down the corridor. Reel stared. The Queen sagged on her dais. Antennae drooped. "Commander," she whispered, "decode this." She asked for signatures, prisoners, as if routine. He bowed. Myth-level majesty. Never anger humans. Alarms shifted. Evac tones now. Human heavies decoupled. Prisoners shuttling aboard. Empire nodes lit green. Ceasefire held. One soldier's checklist. Reel's claws flexed empty. All rooted deep. Too late to unlearn.